What is going on to all my Buzz Lightyear fans out there, and welcome back to my channel, MovieFiles. Elliot back again with a brand new early movie review, and today we're breaking down a film about another film's character in which Andy from Toy Story fell in love with. We're talking about Lightyear, a film I got the chance to check out in IMAX theaters, and I'm so excited to share my thoughts with you on the film, let you know if it's worth checking out in IMAX, and also we'll talk some box office predictions. We'll be discussing that and so much more in today's spoiler-free review. But before we get into it, if you enjoyed this video, well, make sure you're checking me out on all my other social media accounts. If you all are new to the channel and love early movie reviews, TV breakdowns, and live streams, well, come and join the community by subscribing and hitting that notification bell. And if you all enjoyed this spoiler-free movie review, well, make sure you're giving the video a thumbs up and also sharing the video. But more importantly, once you've seen the film, leave your thoughts in the comments from your pros, your cons, your thoughts on the characters. Who was your favorite character? What was your favorite moment? What did you think of the animation, the story, the themes? Were you disappointed by the film? But going back to if you enjoyed this movie, do you want to see more of Chris Evans in this role in a sequel or a Disney Plus spinoff series? Let's have those discussions in the comments below. With all that being said, let's talk about the things that really stood out to me, starting off with the direction in the animation. Now, the director here, Angus MacLane, has worked on many different animation films. He's been an animator dating all the way back to A Bug's Life, and he's also worked on various other projects within the Toy Story universe. I thought he did such a great job of really enhancing my love for this character who we met back in 1995 and just adding more depth and context, and also just seeing how awesome it would have been seeing this as a kid in Andy's perspective. And getting back to the direction of the character, I don't feel like they cheapened the character at all. I don't think they made up a bunch of nonsense to make him look cool. It was just all organic within his narrative. And again, I think when I rewatch Toy Story 1, 2, 3, and even 4, it's just going to make me love the character much more now seeing this prequel film with Andy, seeing this and just understanding how you can love this character so much. So I thought the direction was great, as well as what he was able to do within bringing the sci-fi elements within the space. Action was so great, filled with heart, filled with comedy. I thought the direction was actually very impressive, which, speaking of impressive, we got to talk about the animation here. At this point, I'm not surprised to see Pixar continuing to push the envelope in the world of animation, but this animation was so realistic, and there were points and moments where we were in space that was just so stunning. The landscapes were incredible. I truly, and I honestly mean this, I haven't felt this immersed in an animated film, especially seeing in IMAX of all that as well, because the last few years, I've been watching a lot of Disney Pixar movies at home, right? So being able to see this in theaters, being able to see it in IMAX, I haven't felt this way, this immersed since Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which was, 2018? This is easily one of the best looking animated films I've ever seen, and that's a high bar, because I've seen some pretty cool animation films, but this is definitely up there. It is gorgeous to look at, which kind of pivoting over to some other points I want to bring up, which is talking about the voice performances, starting off with Taika Waititi. How does he do this? This man is directing movies, Star Wars, Marvel, his own projects. He's producing things on TV and also film, and he's also an actor. I don't know how Taika does it, but Taika is in this film. He's part of this kind of ragtag group that's in this movie. He goes by the character by the name of Mo. He's kind of a goofy type of guy, but he ultimately means well. And to me, the group in this film that goes on this mission with Buzz, they're kind of similar to the Guardians. Like, I think Mo kind of reminded me of Drax, but again, a very great character. And again, hats off to you, Taika, to be able to do a million things at once. But talking about another character here who was played by Del Soz as Darby, the elderly convict of the group who can make a bomb out of anything. Now, going back to my Guardians comparison, she's like the Rocket of the group, but just putting those two in the film, to me, I enjoyed them. They were funny, great moments. I enjoyed the art they got in this film, some really great characters. But talking about some other great characters here, let's talk about the Hawthorne family, led by Uzo Aduba as Alicia Hawthorne, who plays Buzz's best friend and the commanding officer, the best of the best when it comes to Space Rangers. Such a great character with heart, compassion, kindness, and was just so well written and really has a big presence throughout the film. I thought Uzo brought this regalness to the character and just such a great character overall. And then also talking about another Hawthorne character, we have Keke Palmer as Izzy, who's yet another fantastically written character with a lot of charm, a lot of hope. She has a lot of belief in people, and Keke is so great in this role. This is the year of Keke Palmer. She has this film, which I think a lot of people will love her character. She has Jordan Peele's Nope coming out next month. She's doing her thing, and I thought she was fantastic. But let's talk about some other characters here. Let's talk about the villain of the film. We're talking about James Brolin as Emperor Zurg, who's never been more menacing or terrifying, but also extremely complex. And when you see the film, you'll know what I'm talking about. But you can't talk Zurg without talking about the man of the hour. I'm talking about the leader of the mission, the star and lead of this film. We're talking Buzz Lightyear himself, voiced by the incredible Chris Evans. Absolutely love this character, love this portrayal, love this story, love the arc that he has in the film. Starting off with the whole solo act, the leader of the mission who doesn't really trust others besides his best friend Alicia. I love seeing the arc that we get with Buzz in this film, and Chris Evans does such a great job in the role. He is iconic in the role. Within the first opening scene, I already knew we were in good hands. He pays respect to what Tim Allen did to the role, but he also creates his own lane. So I love the voice acting, love these characters, but I gotta talk about my favorite character of this film. The planet's best robotic cat, voiced by Peter Sohn. The character Socks, who is his companion in this film. Bebop, Bebop. Such a fun and intelligent character that I immediately care for as soon as you meet the character. I love the chemistry between Socks and the crew and Socks and Buzz. I'm telling y'all right now, when it comes to Funko Pops and toys, it's going to be selling out, and I expect a Disney Plus spinoff with the character. Such a great character. But before we get into my criticisms, I do want to touch on the story and the themes in this film. I didn't really invest too much time in the trailers because I was already sold on the premise when I saw the first teaser, and I'm so glad I didn't really look at the trailers because I was not expecting this story to be so complex and just filled to the brim with sci-fi. And I mean, I'm a Interstellar, greatest sci-fi film of all time for me as far as space films. This has a lot of interstellarness in the film, which I appreciated. And I thought within the first 20 minutes, I thought I knew where the story was headed. But no, it's so much more integral and entertaining and also fascinating, filled with heart and emotions. The film never has a dull moment within a 3-act structure, and it just kept getting better and just new and unique, and I was just so engaged without the 1 hour and 45-minute runtime. So again, the story's great. The themes that they tackle in this film, for example, having trust, having faith in others, and allowing people to help you during difficult times, and not being alone, and also this idea of living up to expectations, living up to a name or your legacy, just to name a few. I thought they were tackled well, handled well, written well. I can just imagine younger audiences taking something away from it, older audiences, adults taking away something from it. Very impressed by the themes and the story in this film. And then one more thing I want to mention, Michael Giacchino's score. I mentioned Interstellar. Now, it's not Hans Zimmer, like one of my favorite scores, my favorite score of all time, but it hits those notes, especially when we're traveling in space, when we're getting the action sequences, where we're having the quieter, more heartfelt moments. The score of Michael Giacchino was absolutely great. So those are my main positives, kind of pivoting and talking about my criticisms. And I'm kind of nitpicking here because I really enjoyed this narrative, but there are some things that come to mind. Number one, this film is very cerebral. And every now and then they will have like these low-hanging jokes and kind of silly, goofy moments that I know was targeted towards a younger audience, but I'm just like, man, it's so cerebral that when they came to those kind of goofy, silly moments, it kind of stood out to me, and I didn't find it to be that funny when those moments happen. It's not a lot, but there are some moments I'm like, that's targeted towards the young kid up front there that I can see is enjoying it, but, that's a small thing. But one more thing I do want to mention, and this is more of a selfish criticism here. I loved Buzz and Alicia's relationship, and I would have loved to have seen them on more missions on other planets, maybe coming across different aliens and things of that nature. So I just wanted to see more of them working together as a unit, and also just spending more time with them and seeing their friendship more on screen. So those are honestly all my criticisms that I have for this film. So before we get into my score, should you see it, what are my box office predictions, If you haven't already, make sure you like this review, share this review, leave your thoughts in the comments, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Overall, I'm so glad we finally get to see the film that Andy watched as a kid, and I can completely understand why it changed his life forever and why he fell in love with Buzz Lightyear. This is a space action adventure that had shades of one of my all-time favorite sci-fi space films, Interstellar meets The First Man. The animation was beyond outstanding. The story and the themes were heartfelt and inspirational, and the characters were all terrific. To infinity and beyond, I'm going to give Lightyear a 4.8 out of 5. It was almost that 5 out of 5, but again, some of those nitpicks came to mind, but absolutely fantastic. Can't recommend it enough. If you have the chance, go see it in IMAX. You're going to really enjoy it, especially with those space scenes. They're so epic. But a couple more things I want to mention before we wrap up. Question I posed to you all up top, and I want to know if you guys might change your mind when you see the film in regards to, do you want to see Chris Evans come back and voice his character in a sequel film or a Disney Plus series? Let me know that in the comments. And the last thing I want to wrap up with, box office predictions. Now, I personally see this film doing anything between maybe 90 million to 110 million domestically opening weekend. As far as competition, as I'm recording this, we just had Jurassic World Dominion, which I don't think is going to have long legs. The week after that is Elvis, so it does have its own slot, and I think it's going to really do some big numbers when it comes to its opening weekend. Like I said, 90 to 110 million. I think it's going to bring in the younger audience, the teens, the adults. Going to have great word of mouth. It kind of, again, it's like Interstellar, Top Gun Maverick vibes, First Man vibes. I think people are going to eat this up, and I see it being very successful when it wraps up its run at the box office. So hey, those are my thoughts, those are my scores, that's my box office prediction. Thank you all for watching this review. Before you leave, again, just a friendly reminder to like, share, leave your thoughts in the comments, and of course subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell so you don't miss any of my future content. Thank you all for watching the review. Hope you're staying safe. Come and join the community. Check out my other movie reviews, check out my most recent review, and we'll catch you all on the next breakdown.